Good.
How you feeling, man?
Yeah, we got one more.
Okay, great. Perfect timing. Okay, go ahead.
You coached against Keenum a few times before. It looks like it's going to be Case this weekend. What can you do to kind of prepare your team maybe differently than maybe had it been Baker?
Right. I think that, we looked at both styles. Today is when we put a big emphasis on the quarterback, his intentions, his demeanor, how he handles himself under pressure. Does he escape? Does he extend? Those type things. So he's played a lot of good football. I think the thing that stood out, I know there's a lot of things going on with Cleveland right now with COVID and things like that. But they had quite a few players out in the Denver game, missing both backs. Case started, and I thought they did a great job. They really stayed true to who they were. They had 80 yards rushing, 200 yards passing, a touchdown, close to 400 yards of total offense. So they're really who they are, and we got great respect for them. Excellent, really, really good running team, and he does things very well if he's at the helm. He's won a lot of games, like I said, been with the Vikings and done some really good things there, so a lot of respect for him.
With all the uncertainty around their team, every day there's a different guy that's missing. So
yeah.
Does it help to have that game that you mentioned against Denver where there was all kinds of different variables and yet they still kind of did what they did? So does it help to have that game?
Right. I think it was important. I know we looked at it just because I think they're pretty defined who they want to be and what they are. And an extremely good running team. They have the play action passes off of it that create challenges. And so it's a good game to say, regardless, they've got a talented roster and they're very well coached. And the next man up is definitely their mentality, and we saw that in the Denver game.
The Browns are a team that run the ball a lot anyway, but especially being without their starting quarterback, and it looks like there may be some unfavorable conditions for the game on Saturday. How much more emphasis are you putting just into stopping?
Well, I think they're always a team they're going to pride themselves on running the ball over 30 times a game. That's just who they are. And, I think that's for us, that mentality that we know they're real good. They're real good up front. And they're a committed run team. They've had multiple games of over 200 yards. I think they had 240 against the Chargers, and that's the way they like it. Where they can really control the line of scrimmage and dominate in the run game, and then the passing game off of it to keep you honest. And that's where they search for their big plays. What I saw is I think they've got almost 50 explosive runs, and most teams we're playing, you see 18, 20. They've got 50. Or 49 or something like that, over 100 explosive plays in the year. They're averaging 8.5 a game. So, when that number in the run game shows, that really catches your attention.
Because you can see they're down two really good linemen, right? So when you talk about a number like that, is that putting the emphasis on a line of scrimmage play up front for you guys, or your linebackers are people filling so they don't hit the...
Right. Well, I think it's both. It starts up front for us, with our defensive line and really, playing good. Coach Callahan is a really good coach, offensive line coach, and really convicted on what he wants to do. And they're going to find a way to run the ball and attack you. So it really comes back off to building that mindset. We understand what we're coming into and great respect for it, and we got to play accordingly. So it's really about our mindset going into it and understanding they've got a complete game with some real good skilled guys on the perimeter.
I know your focus is on the upcoming game, but when what happens last week happens on the field, do you want them to just ignore it, forget it, think about it, use it as fuel? What do you want them to do?
No, I think there are some good lessons to be learned in that game. Sometimes when obviously winning is what we're after, right? And there's different ways coaches go about trying to get their players' mindsets ready to perform and win. And, and I know there's a lot of talk about, make sure that we get better and, bring in our best. Well, that's not what getting better looks like. That game. If that's what we're after, then we have to be real with ourselves and say, that's not bringing our best, and that's not what improving looks like. And, you have false starts the first time we played them, defensive offsides, and the second game we did. That's not a clear picture. So I think it's more of an illustration to our players. If we pride ourselves in that, well, now we know again what that doesn't look like. And the third downs, we tried to get them in the third and long situations, and we did. but we just didn't capture those opportunities. And when you don't, capture those opportunities and keep the explosive plays down, the score can get high.
Do you think there was plays where there wasn't full effort toward the end of the game?
No, sometimes like that last play of the game, you look at it and you go, oh, they just, it was a lack of effort. But across the board, there was really good effort. We just had a guy miss his gap. He's supposed to play a gap, and to his credit, we talked about finishing on the ball, and the running back came up and went to the outside, and he left to go finish on the ball, and it cut back on him. But it wasn't a lack of effort, and some guys had angles wrong and things like that. But I didn't see any of that. That was more just a mishap, and when you're a gap control and gap integrity defense, then if you don't play your gap, something like that can pop out. Now, the eraser tackle, was a bad angle. That center field, safety, he's got to, be on his angles at all times. So.
Just have had some situational issues on defense, whether it be third down or goal-to-goal kind of red zone situations. What do you kind of attribute that to? Because even if you play well on a kind of play-by-play basis, obviously
sure.
you have to make that play.
Well, on the third down, some of it was, he extended plays. The one where he went to the sideline, threw across the field, and made a play. We lost contain, and with a quarterback like that, that's when you got to be able to contain him. And then the plaster rules. Our middle field safety. Seeing. Sometimes you see Tyreek running free, something's wrong. If there's no one on him. So, like I said, there's learning moments on that, but it does come back to execution. I think that we can get into the situation where if we're not executing properly, the defense called, you kind of tweak it and try to adjust some things, and then you can get away from your principles, and then you don't execute as well. And I think what we've come back to is just say, you know what, we got to do a better job executing the call rather than trying to fix things and adjust things. Play the call, let's execute, and then let's go from there. It's kind of what we're learning about our guys.
It's a long way away. It's not really underrated right now, but Super Bowl's coming here in 2024. Just how cool is that for the city and the
I think she was just telling me that. That is so great. This city, I've been here for a short time, and it amazes me. The energy it has. My son's playing in a basketball tournament. I think he said there's like 90 teams coming in to Vegas, and there's always something going on, and it's such a vibrant city, and it's so awesome, that part of it. And then to have a Super Bowl, you can imagine the atmosphere that it's going to be here, and the people that it's going to draw in. So it's just awesome for the whole fan base, for the city, and. It's cool to be able to represent it, being the home team, and having it in our city.
Gus, changing gears just a little bit. Now that we're, season's almost over, we're in mid-December now. How would you quantify the influence that Casey has had on the younger defensive backs?
He's been tremendous now. Sometimes you get in situations like this or versus teams, it can get chaotic, when you see a big play happen, or a situation like last week, right, where there's some turnovers taking place. And I think that he brings that sense of calm, like, hey, it can happen, we quickly recover, and let's move on. And let's adjust and let's go. And he kind of brings that sense of calm to the whole defense. I think he's got a great perspective. I think he's been in all situations. He's been on teams of different, records and situations that have taken place. And I think he's at a point in his career where he really utilizes that experience and passes that on to the players. And it's not just the DBs now. He's with the linebackers and D-line. He's got a unique ability to relate to anybody from any walk of life. And I think that's what's, I really appreciate about Casey.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
See you.
No, he just thought he was waiting.
Warm, man.
Obviously, the Browns, they're having a lot of COVID issues this week. It looks like Baker Mayfield probably isn't going to play. And they're run first team anyway, but you would think they're probably going to lean into that even more. As one of the leaders in terms of stopping the run, what kind of focus have you taken towards that this week?
Well, we played them last year. They got two great running backs, but them being down guys obviously don't matter. They're going to find guys to fill in and go out there and perform. So we just got to go out there and do our job and do a better job, stopping the run compared to last week, and, just try to go out there and get a win, get back on track.
You like cold weather football?
Oh yeah, I'm from Detroit, so I don't mind it. I hope it snows.
Favorite part about it, how does a cold weather December football game, how does that atmosphere affect the way the game is played?
Only thing that really affect the game if it's real windy, where offensive really can't like pass the ball as much. But Cleveland is a run first team anyway. I'm sure they're gonna be able to, still run the ball and pass the ball. But all the guys not being there or missing guys and it's cold, it really don't matter. It's football, so just gotta just go out there and play.
Down to those players, have you guys had any type of discussion about the COVID situation, whether in Cleveland, whether here, whether what's going on around the league?
I just try to stay in the house and stay away from people and, stay COVID free. So I got a little daughter at home and obviously the holidays are coming upon us. So I'm just trying to do the best we can. I'm sure everybody is too.
What was your reaction to Las Vegas getting a Super Bowl?
Well, I just found out today. It's pretty exciting. That's in 2024. So I don't know. I think it's great for the city. It's huge. So no, I think it's exciting. I'm not sure. 2024 is a while away, so we'll see.
John, we've seen him Malcolm Kuntz get out here a couple times in the last couple of weeks. What kind of growth have you seen from him? Not just the last couple of games, but from when he first got here.
Man, he didn't a lot of growth. Just him watching Max and Jan and Coach Rod and Coach Trav being on him every day on scout team. To me, he looked like a starter. I feel like he can go out there and compete just as good as Jan and Max. And I've been excited that he's been getting a chance and the opportunity to go out there and play. And I love playing with the kid. He's been phenomenal. I ain't really got nothing bad to say. But you see what he's putting out there on film.
How much do you think the team is looking forward to getting back on the field after what happened last week to kind of raise?
I'm ready. That was pretty embarrassing to go out there and play like that. Obviously, we made a statement before the game, and we all was with it, but obviously didn't come to play. KC did what they had to do, and that wasn't Raider football. We got to get back to Raiders football and dominating guys and not playing like that. So I'm anxious to get back on the field, especially against the Browns. So it'd be fun.
You guys all set now? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
First thing, Las Vegas just got awarded a Super Bowl. So, what do you think that means for the city, for the organization, everything around here, and just what's it going to be like in Vegas when that happens?
Oh, I think it's huge for the city. The city's already like big and booming, and I think that's going to bring a lot of people in town and stuff like that. So I think it'll be huge for the city.
What's been your favorite part about being in Vegas overall, now that you know that the Super Bowl is coming here? What are people that haven't been here, haven't experienced sports in the NFL here, what are they going to experience?
I think. I enjoy Vegas a lot. I mean, it's fun. I go hiking a lot. I don't really spend too much time on the Strip. That ain't my thing. But I definitely love this city. It's done a lot for me, football wise. And I think that having the Super Bowl come here is going to open the eyes of a lot of people in the city and show that there's a lot of things that we can do in the city. So.
It seems like there's been a lot of up and down when it comes just to the offensive line as an overall unit this season. When things aren't going well, what have been some trends that you've noticed maybe on film and in terms of just those overall unit areas that you all can improve moving forward?
I think when we do have downs, it's just the cohesion part. We're working every day to get closer to each other and understand each other and why some people do certain things and things like that. We're a tight group, so whenever we have a down game, it's on all of us. No one's pointing fingers and stuff like that, and we know what we have to do to get better after we watch film. So we take it and just work at it.
John, you've been around a long time, growing up playing football your whole life, and there's times when guys have a bad game and times when guys don't have effort. You guys have had some bad games, but never been guilty of lack of effort.
Right.
Is that a building block for the future because this line is so young?
I definitely do think that's a building block. So just like basically just a foundation that somewhere we can start. Having guys like Alex, he's young, he's super young. Me, it's my second year. and playing next to guys like Colton and Andre, Brandon, those guys, they always give us the motivation and let us know that just as long as you got effort, that's all that really matters. Because eventually over time everything else it'll work itself out. So I think effort definitely is the foundation of our O-line, and just giving all we got each play.
As an offensive lineman, it seems like you guys really get most of your attention when something goes wrong. Kind of when you're having bad moments like that, how do you kind of, especially as a young player, kind of finding your way in the league, how do you kind of learn from those moments, but not get have your confidence get bogged down by it?
I'd say it starts with Coach Cable. Coach Cable's a great coach, and he cares about the player as much as he does how we play, and he tells us when he sees us have a bad player, a bad drive or something like that, he comes to the side. He's like, hey, take a deep breath. Just that's behind you. Now it's time to go out there and do what you're capable of. So I definitely think it starts with him. He's a great role model, great leader. He's somebody that I look up to and I respect.
When you talk about that philosophy of putting the bad behind you, how do you guys handle kind of last week, and how excited are you to kind of get back on the field and just put that performance behind you?
Oh, we're super excited. That game was very uncharacteristic of us as a team. I feel like there's things that we definitely got to work on, and there's things that we don't have to work on as much, but we just got to focus on the things that we're not as good at and focus on that and keep stacking away.
With the Browns defensive front, Myles Garrett,
Yep.
Conley on the outside, you're an interior player, but they do twist. I mean, they do some things.
Yeah.
How much attention, even you on the interior, do you have to pay to them, or is it more kind of an area thing that you've got to pay attention to from where you are?
Playing guard, you got to pay attention to everything because they stun a lot. They do a lot of stunts. Those guys are really great players, and you always got to know where they at, like no matter what down it is or anything like that. So as long as you know where they are and you can kind of anticipate what they're going to do and stuff like that, just having that in the back of your mind, knowing that, hey, look, if I'm setting on this guy and he twists and I got him, what I'm saying? So it's just X's and O's at the end of the day, but those are really great players, so you definitely got to know where they are.
There's Lisa.
One more game. John, we have a chance to have a weather game this weekend. How much do you appreciate those games?
Weather games are fun, man. Ever since like Little League, playing in the rain and stuff like that, sliding around, it's fun. And I think that's one of the biggest things with us. We gotta go out there and have fun. It's a job, but at the same time, this is something that we've been playing since we were kids. So a game like this should just bring back memories for a lot of guys, especially for me. It's fun playing in any kind of weather, if you ask me.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Got a guest order in today. Go ahead.
Well, you have a quick question. The first couple of games after John left, Derek talked about the play was coming in quick and getting to the line quicker. Now, you and I both know appearances are not always accurate. It seems like you guys have taken a little bit of a different philosophy. Are you still getting the plays in at the same speed? Is it Derek maybe who's not executing with that speed? Did you guys change a philosophy?
No, we haven't changed philosophy. And we would not notice that. We always talk about the tempo of which we want to play, and we want to take the tempo to the defense. So certainly in a noisy stadium on the road, it's a little bit more difficult for the communication within the huddle, but we're always wanting to push the tempo and make sure that our tempo is at a good speed.
I know you guys want to do what you want to do and not necessarily focus on the other side, but is it difficult to prepare when every day they're losing different guys? Like you're going to be going against different players every day, it seems like.
Yeah, it's but you don't look at it that way. We look at the team that they put on the field, last weekend, and there's nothing to say they can't have the test tomorrow where they test negative. So we're preparing for the team that we saw last week, and obviously a very strong defensive team, especially up front. They've really improved their linebackers from a year ago significantly. We feel like the back end are real solid. So we're preparing for the guys that we see on tape, and we make adjustments. We'll make them on Saturday when we get there, depending on what their status is.
When it comes to a player like Myles Garrett, who can move around and he's pretty impactful no matter where he lines up, what goes into preparing?
Great player. Obviously they're aware of matchups as well. They played him and Clowney. They played him inside and Clowney outside, Clowney inside, him outside. So they're looking for the same matchups defensively. So we're aware of that. So you'll get a feel once the game gets started on where they feel their matchup is, and then we'll adjust accordingly. But, he's a premier player in the league and has been, but he's really having a great season this season. And, that's their strength is their front seven. And, again, I said earlier, they're real solid on the back end as well. So not a lot of holes in that defense right now. But, again, we'll adjust with those front four guys as the game gets going. We find out where they decide to place him.
Greg, going in, I know you said some guys could, come back and play, but I mean, John Johnson and Troy Hill, I mean, those are two really good guys.
Two great safeties, yeah. I had a chance to be with them in L.A., yeah.
Right.
So-
Safeties, nickel sets. Does that maybe, looking at it, or if that's the case, would you maybe go in with different personnel to maybe take advantage? Because those are two big.
Yeah, you're always aware, no question, Steve. You're aware of on it, as you're waiting for this to see who the inactives are on game day, which will affect your plan and your play calling based on that inactive. That a lot of times whether it's DB's down or hey, they may only have 4 D linemen up, so let's really push the tempo. So there's a lot of things that go into the inactives on game day. And you also would like to think when they are missing significant numbers at a certain position that their game plan may be simplified because we know that they're bringing in players off the street or practice squad players that haven't been in the system. So, but again, we'll see on Saturday when we get the inactives to kind of tweak what we need to tweak.
Greg, have you ever coached in a situation like this where either a team you're coaching or a team coaching against has that many people?
No, never seen it again with COVID. We've seen a lot of things the last 2 seasons that have, unprecedented. So, we'll roll with it. And what it looks like right now, that we're going to play the game, and we're just preparing our guys right now, again, based on the film that they're having a chance to see. And that's how we're putting the game plan together right now.
Greg, you coached Case before. What?
No.
You weren't.
Case was gone. By the time I'd gotten there, they made the decision to move on from Case. Yeah, we had Jared Goff at that point.
Still there.
No.
Excuse that.
Good player, though. I've always had a lot of respect for Case. I've had a ton of respect for him. I got a chance to talk to him on the phone when I first went to L.A. Because at that point he had not been, we had not let him go. So I spoke with him on the phone, and then the next 3 weeks or something we had decided to let him go. So, but I had a lot of respect for him. He's played a lot of football, National Football League, and he's hung around for different teams for a reason.
When Derek Carr was speaking to us yesterday, he said the biggest issue he's noticed just with the offense as of late is finding that consistency. Just from a coaching perspective, what can you all do to try to get that to translate more to the?
Yeah, we said, it really starts a little bit for us is up front and being able to run the football. I think those first couple of games back, as you had mentioned, that we were able to run the ball and we were able to do a lot of things with our play action pass. So until we find a way to consistently run the football, it's difficult to set up some of the things you want to do play action wise, movement wise. So and again, getting those guys playing together, which they've had a chance now. But just that's the consistency that we're looking for is establishing the run, finding a way to establish that so everything else falls in line.
When it comes to the run game, obviously the offensive line is probably the biggest part of that. But is there anything that you've noticed on film that maybe Josh Jacobs can do when it comes to whether it's
I think trust. I think big trust issues for everyone, whether it be the quarterback in trusting that they'll get it done and I can get through my reads or my progressions. And it's no different than with a running back. I've got to trust to stay with my read and not try to do too much or go beyond what the reads ask me to do. And I think that sometimes comes into effect with both the quarterbacks and running backs is the trust of what's going on up front. They just got to trust one another and stick with it there.
How excited do you think the players are to just get back on the field and put last week behind them?
I think everyone wants to get players, coaches, the entire organization wants to get the bitter taste out of their mouth. So Just another opportunity. Again, like we've always said, it's not one more game is any more important than any other. But when you go through, something as a team in a team sport like that, you're always eager to get back and compete the next week to get that out of your, again, to get that taste out of your mouth and to show that you are capable of playing good football.
Oh, sorry. So the Super Bowl just got announced coming here, obviously. What does that mean for the city? What do you think a Super Bowl in Las Vegas looks like?
It'll be awesome. I just think, again, we got the Pro Bowl here as well. So it's a great venue. Obviously, the growth in Vegas here and just the 2 years that we've been here, it's amazing. And for anyone that's just been here the last couple of years to see the growth in this city, and entertainment capital of the world. So it's pretty exciting. I think the city will be real excited about it.
All right. Coach, weather, a possibility Saturday night, what goes into game planning for that?
Yeah. We've again, it looks 40 and drizzle is what we've looked at. We worked the wet balls today. We worked a ton of wet balls with the wide receivers and quarterbacks. So we'll get a chance tomorrow to be out on the field to test their cleats. Probably wear our 7-stud cleats. But we did a lot of work today with wet football. So, and again, we'll adjust on Saturday if the weather changes.
You guys all set?
Do you water the field down extra, the practice field, or how do you?
They won't water the field down, and we always encourage our guys once they get there. But we will wear the 7-stud cleats tomorrow, anticipating a soft field, and then that way they can work their shoes in. And then when we get to the stadium, we'll always ask them to go out in early pregame to test the field conditions out for their shoes. But we did a lot of work today again with wet footballs.
Great.
Thank you guys. Yep. See you, Steve.
That's it for today, guys.